What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Batman will be the final boss in the Suicide Squad game. Now, I know what you guys could be saying. You'd be saying, Alex, the game isn't announced yet. I mean, it's technically teased, but we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen gameplay. We don't even know if we don't know anything, and you're going to go off with this. Well, that's what a theory video, that's what a discussion video is all about. So I do want to talk about this. I have seen this kind of floating around of how would they work boss fights in this game. Is the Justice League each their own boss? So I kind of want to go over that. I want to leave it a little bit open so that I'm able to make more videos like this, potentially, right, if things happen or when things happen when we actually get to see this game. So we're going to talk about that in this video. Really quickly, before I jump in, I do want to just promote our Discord. I haven't really done it recently with the people in the Suicide Squad community. So if you guys are new to the community, we do have a Discord. We have loads of people talking about all kinds of different topics, including all things DC. We have an entire category of DC stuff. So if you guys want to meet some new people, you want to talk about some DC stuff, or just basically anything, gaming, movie related, anything, definitely check it out. Again, the link for it will be in the description below. All right, so will Batman, I think the first thing we have to talk about is, will Batman be in the game? So that should be an easy one, right? The answer, I think, is yes. My prediction, now I'm recording this pretty early from when you guys are seeing it, so a lot can happen in between. So I guess if something major happens, I guess the video would be outdated and you wouldn't see it all. But anyway, I don't think Suicide Squad is going to be teasing Batman before we get into DC fandom, okay? I think that generally, because Batman maybe is so big, because of the Warner Bros. Montreal Batman game, they're going to keep Batman relatively or like largely hidden, where they're not really going to show it. I wouldn't be surprised if in the Suicide Squad game in general, or when they show it, say they show the teaser trailer, it's CG, it is 30, 40 seconds long, I would not be surprised in the slightest if they don't show Batman at all. Even if they show Justice League members, I wonder if Batman isn't even included, just to kind of keep, I guess, a mystery going, at the same time keep it so that it's not too confusing with the Batman game. Again, it's not confusing to us, we're in the know, but when you get outside of our realm of viewers, okay, or like the community that we've built, or, you know, you guys talking to each other, all that, when you get outside of that, there is a lot more confusion. There's people thinking that this is, and remember, we even talked about, like, could this be a game in the Arkham world? There was a lot of people in those comments that weren't really, you know, haven't been a part of the community for a very long time, right? They need some catching up to do, which is totally cool, and it's to be expected. But again, that shows you, I think that's a perfect point right there. That shows you that not everybody's in the know as much as maybe we think they are, right? So you could say that, but at the same time, we're going to kind of bypass that for the purpose of this video. Are the boss fights, or will there be boss fights of the Justice League? I think so. I think that it makes a lot of sense that the Justice League are, I mean, I think obviously the Justice League is probably the main villain of this game, right? There's been rumors that, like, Flash is specifically, obviously they started the tease with Superman. Again, I think Batman is going to be largely hidden. So they have some options. I mean, they could go Superman, they could go Flash, they could go Batman, they could go off the grid, and it'll be interesting to see if order even matters. Look, a thing you have to remember with this game is it's going to be different. It's going to be very, very different. Look, the person who's writing this game has even said that this game is going to be more of like a funny game, like there's comedy in there. Now, I hope that doesn't mean that this game is going to lack all seriousness, that there's going to be no seriousness in the game. I don't think so. I hope what it means is you expect some comedy with the Suicide Squad. They're a little bit more wacky, they're a little bit more unpredictable, and obviously that is going to lead to it being a little bit more funny. Okay, that's what I hope she means. I honestly do believe that. I think that there is going to be heart to this game. I think there is going to be emotion, but I also think that there's going to be some comedy. It's going to be like a fun time. And again, like, can you have a fun time beating the heck out of Superman, beating the heck out of Batman? Now, honestly, how do you do that? You know, that's a discussion that I've seen in the comments, even in my own videos on Twitter, on all this different stuff. And it's a good point. Honestly, I don't want to spoil The Last of Us, so I'm going to try not to with this. But if you think about it, it is a very tough situation of battling the Justice League and saying, well, how could you even beat Superman, or how could you beat Batman, who's so smart, sees everything coming, always has a plan, or always has the gadgets or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to really get into a fight that he can't win, or most of the time. Obviously, there are situations. And then you could say, well, you know, if you are Batman in a boss fight where you're fighting the Suicide Squad, you would win. But because you're the Suicide Squad member, you're going to lose. Batman is going to lose. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations. There's been games like The Last of Us Part 2 that have done that, where it's like, okay, well, if I was playing as this character, there's no way I would have lost this fight. You know what I mean? There's just absolutely no way. But because I'm not playing as this character, I'm playing as somebody else, I have I have the upper hand, because that's what a game is. You know what I mean? That just tends to happen where sometimes, and really, I mean, that happens all the time. Like, even in like a random example would be like God of War. All these gods, like you could see in an alternate world where if I'm playing as Zeus or I'm playing as Hades or whoever, you could probably beat Kratos. You know what I mean? Like if you were playing as them, you would have the skills or the ability to beat him. But because you're not and you are Kratos, you will win. You know what I mean? There is always the opportunity, the possibility that you don't win, that the game purposely has you lose. There's also the theory or people floating around like, well, what exactly happens when you win? There's no way they're going to be killed off, because if this takes place in a brand new universe with the Batman game, okay, if it's kind of kicking it off, you can't kill off the Justice League because you'd be killing off all the members almost immediately, right? There's no way that would happen. You'd either have to take them in and then they would break out, or if they're controlled, you'd have to take them in and they would be uncontrolled. Whatever situation basically happens. Maybe there'd be opportunities or times where you would want to kill them, right? You could see how the specific member of the Suicide Squad would want to eliminate them, but they, maybe they have a change of heart and they say, okay, it's not worth it, right? Because that is kind of, again, I've talked about that before, that is kind of the humanity that a lot of those members have. So specifically talking about Batman now, moving on from, that kind of the background there, would he be the final boss? Well, again, honestly, it depends on how the game works. If it's more of a non-linear thing, which again, being a more games as a servicey thing, that it seems like it's going to be going down that path, right? Maybe a little bit more akin to Marvel's Avengers. I mean, firstly, that's not a good sign. I don't love that. We'll have, I'm sure, numerous videos talking about that. But order may not matter. We'll have to see if order matters. I think Batman is a good candidate, honestly, for the last boss. It's kind of, I don't know, I don't think cliche is the right word, but it kind of feels obvious almost, right, that Batman would, and maybe for that reason it's maybe a negative. I don't know, from my perspective, I get why people would say, if Batman was the final villain, okay, we beat the game, we find out Batman's the last villain, we move on. I could see people saying like, that's kind of like, you kind of expect Batman, like maybe you're putting too much stock into him, like give somebody else the ability to lead. You know what I mean? Give somebody else the ability to kind of have the show. And I agree with that largely. And I mean, I agree, or I at least see where people are coming from. But honestly, if Batman were the last villain, I don't think I would mind. I honestly don't. It's maybe even for the same reason why, like Joker, there's so many people, they're turned off of him. I still want him. I still want him in the Batman game in a reduced role. Absolutely reduced role, but I want him in it. I want him in the Suicide Squad game. I know I saw lots of people saying, please just don't have Joker in it. I mean, this is your chance to have a character that you can completely reimagine, have your own, new thing. It could be like another Troy Baker voice Joker, but it could be completely different. You know what I mean? They have a chance here to do some really cool things. I don't want them to pass that up. I want to see his interactions with the other villains too. So that's another situation where I'm like, I see why. I mean, and again, that's kind of the situation. I see why people are saying that. I see why people don't want Joker. I completely get that. I'm not against you if you think that. I also, in a way, don't want him like to steal the show. I don't want him as the main thing, but I would like to see him. Same way, honestly, I could kind of predict in the future with the Suicide Squad game. If Batman's the final villain, I could see people saying like, you couldn't have let Flash kind of steal, like that would be cool. I do agree that giving it to Flash, even giving it to Superman in a way, like I know he's a main part, obviously, like Injustice, right? But like a superhero standalone game like we've had with these Arkham games, obviously Batman has been the only one in the DC world that has been like the elevate, he's been at the top, okay? So why not give it to somebody else? Again, I get that. I think having Flash, I think having Wonder Woman, all these people in a significantly, heightened role would actually be a pretty cool thing, you know what I mean, compared to what we've gotten in the Arkham games. And so to give it to Batman, in my mind, I see kind of almost like chickening out, you know what I mean, going with what's safe, going with what people probably would expect, right? At the same time, Batman, you could argue, is he the strongest, is he not necessarily the strongest, is he the overall best Justice League member, right? Sometimes he's the leader of it, depends on which version, but does that mean that he would be the final boss? Or maybe you take him out early on. I saw some people say, what if you pitch the idea of like Batman's already kind of off the board when Suicide Squad the game starts? Like, could that happen? That would be, honestly, that would be more bold. That would be more innovative, whatever word you want to use. There's obviously a lot of options. I think I would be cool with Batman being the final villain. I don't have anything wrong with it. I would see, though, people saying, could it be Superman? Could it be Wonder? Give it to somebody random. You know what I mean? So I get it. At the same time, again, this is speculation. This is speculation before we've even seen the game. We don't even know if that's how the game is going to. For all we know, the Justice League could maybe get unpossessed or whatever situation's going on by maybe halfway through the game, and then maybe like they're your allies, and there's a real threat. I've seen obviously like Bizarro, Lex Luthor has been like a rumor out there, right? What if the Justice League actually helps you around halfway through the game, and you're all fighting together against a common enemy? I mean, that could very well happen too, and that kind of throws everything. You know what I mean? Then if you say, is Batman the final boss? Well, then you have to get, if you want to still remain right in terms of a theory, you have to then specify, is Batman the final Justice League boss battle? But saying, is he the final boss battle in the game? Well, it could be Lex Luthor. It could be, somebody else. It could be whoever the mastermind of the game in general is. That could be the final boss. You know what I mean? So it's tough. Obviously, we're talking about this when we have specifically one teaser post produced. So I get it. It's a little bit early, but that's kind of what I do, firstly. And also, I just love doing it. I think I have a lot of fun doing this. I definitely want to do more of these videos, and especially once we start seeing things in the trailers, in gameplay, hearing more about the story, then we can start piecing together, start having more theories, start figuring stuff out, and basically even revisit topics just like this one. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think Batman will be the final villain or the final boss battle in the Suicide Squad game? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And like I said, join our Discord server if you have not yet already. I've seen your requests of doing characters in the Suicide Squad. I've already done a video like that. I did that like a few weeks ago. Obviously, I think a lot of people missed it. I would like to revisit it, do a little spin-off of it. So, for you guys asking, I have done a video like that before, but I want to do more videos like it with slight twists on, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.